Hi, my family and I had a hearing today, where we were subpoenaed to serve as witnesses for our former attorney, Philip, because he was basically being sued for damages by the opposing party, Lynn, the untrustworthy trustee, for fictitious appeals when the appeals was not fictitious, and he did everything by the book like he was supposed to. But because they're mad at him for doing his job, they wanted to make him pay. At first, it was like over $30,000. But they sent the email to him saying it's going to knock off like $8,000 because they miscalculated the bill. But it's telling me like all three law firms miscalculated the bill. They must have got caught in something because there's no way that all three of them miscalculated the bill unless they're that stupid. Anyway, we was confused as to how he wants to appear at the hearing in person or on Zoom. And then so I ended up asking Phil. And Phil asked the court clerk, and the court clerk explained that one of the petitions that was supposed to be heard yesterday was in person. The other two was on Zoom. All three of the petitions were to be heard, was to be heard rather at the same time. So he asked us how we want to attend. We said on Zoom, because it's more convenient. We're more likely to get there on time. It's easier for people with disabilities to go on Zoom, especially have assistants and so on. So we went on Zoom. We got there like at 10:50 a.m. on Zoom. The hearing didn't start till 11. So the first few minutes, we just figured, oh, he's probably running late because the judge usually run late anyway. Then 30 minutes go by, we knew something was wrong. So long story short, we ended up staying in total maybe about an hour and 20 minutes, or maybe even more, waiting on them. But they let us in the room, but they wasn't going to let us hear any sound. They didn't let us hear any sound. We could not see anyone's pictures. The camera was not on. And we heard sound for a split second as if someone accidentally turned the sound on for us to hear the hearing, and then they immediately cut it back off. So we know that they purposely kept us out of the hearing, because I even went double check the time and everything. We was there on time, we was there early, but they kept us out of the hearing on purpose. And I'm like, why would they do that? I literally was subpoenaed to attend the hearing as a witness, and so was my niece. And later on tonight, I ended up getting an email from the attorney that we were supposed to testify on behalf of, stating that the judge basically refused to listen to him say anything about the reasonableness of their charges, or the damages they are asking for. And I'm like, so basically the judge telling him that he has no right to defend himself. They're coming at him saying that he owes all these damages, and he can't question the reason of the damages because they charge him way more than what they should be, and they want him to pay out of pocket as punishment. And then the judge, with his Dr. Giggles looking ass, didn't even want to listen to his defense, which I find beyond outrageous. How you gonna tell him that he can't defend himself when they're hauling him into court, telling him he has to pay over $30,000 out of his pocket, but then he can't defend himself about the reason, saying, I don't owe them this money because what they're charging is unreasonable, because one, I did not file any petitions, appeals, or whatever, and two, also, they overcharged. They charged the fees that wasn't legal fees as if they were legal fees. They had attorneys, like 3 law firms, doing the same stuff, and they charged it 3 times and stuff like that. So they didn't even allow him the chance to defend himself. And he explained that's why they wouldn't let me or Tara testify. I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, and that's not right. That's denial of due process rights to him as attorney and as a person being hauled in the court. But also that's an issue because we should be allowed to attend any of those hearings because all those hearings are public hearings. So anybody should be able to get in those hearings. We should be denied access because we want to get in those hearings. And I realize now that for now, if I try to attend the hearings, I have to do stuff like not put my name, basically. Because maybe that's why they didn't let me in, because they saw my name. But the only reason why I put my name was because I was subpoenaed to testify, and I wanted to let them know that I did come there, and I was there on time, and so was my niece. I put her name too. Because you don't show up in your subpoena, you get in trouble. So I put my name to let them know I'm here, like, let me in. I was called to testify. I'm here to testify, let me in. They didn't let me in. Well, they let me in the room, or let us in the room. They didn't let us testify because they turned the sound off. They muted us. They muted themselves so we couldn't hear what they were saying. And nobody had their camera on. But before we was in the hearing, we was required to turn our camera on, even though we didn't want to. But then also they can't have their camera on. So that's what happened today. Not surprised. These folks are corrupt as corrupt can come. And at the end of this video, I'm going to attach a series of other videos, or I might just upload it as a separate video, as proof that we was there, we was waiting for the room to be open, and it never was open. Quick update, so I want to let it be known that we're here at the hearing. We got here early on the Zoom hearing. It's past 11:20 and he's still not here. Look. It's 11:42 and they still haven't let us in the courtroom. The hearing was scheduled for 11. It's around 12:16 p.m. We've been here since around 10:50, 10:55. They still have not let us in the courtroom. And to be specific, they was unclear on the instructions as to whether or not we had to appear in person. So I asked the attorney, our attorney, I asked him, and then he asked the court, and the court said 2 of the petitions are to be heard on Zoom. 1 of the petitions is in person. And then, so the attorney sent us an email asking which would me and my niece prefer to do. So we told him on Zoom a few days ago. So they knew we chose Zoom. And the hearing was like at 11, but then nobody's here. Or if they're here, they're not letting us in to actually hear what they're saying. Cause I don't see anybody there. Like we're in the Zoom room, but there's nobody here. So it's probably like 12:17 now. So I'm gonna log out. And then if they need me to do a witness statement in the future, I'm just gonna tell them to write an affidavit and have them sign, because it's not fair for my time to be wasted like this. And I don't blame my attorney. I blame the courts and them, because they already rescheduled this hearing once at the last minute. It was supposed to be like June 3rd, and then I think they rescheduled again to today, July 10th, and they're doing this. So I'm about to log out. I'm just recording as this is documentation so y'all can see how the court does. I also forgot to mention that Tel was here, waiting over an hour for them to come. Nobody showed up. I've been here waiting over an hour, and my sister Kim's been here over an hour waiting. So